Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the box we're going to make today along with a larger size. So this is the box that I demonstrated during my Facebook Friday number 21. That video is available, but it's rather lengthy. So I'm going to show you how to make this one with different colors, and then we're going to make the larger size that I shared during the live stream, but I didn't give the measurements, okay? So we're going to make this size first. I'm changing up the paper and the colors. We're using basic black. This measures 6.5 by 10.5. And then I've already cut the designer series paper, and let me give you those measurements. So this one measures 2.25 by 4.25. These two pieces measure 3/4 by 4.25, and then two pieces that measure 3/4 by 2.25. We've got Whisper White that measures 2.5 by 1 3/8, Basic Black 2 3/4 by 1 5/8, and a piece of crushed curry scraps for a little flower right there, okay? I'm going to get out the Simply Scored scoring tool, and like I said, we're going to make this regular size one or normal size one first, and then we'll make the larger one. Okay, we're going to place this on the portrait side, which is the 6.5 inch side, and we're going to score it at 1 inch on both sides. So I've scored it at 1 inch. I'm just going to flip it around and score it at 1 inch again. I'm going to place it on the 10.5 inch side, which I like to call the landscape side, and that is 2.5, 3.5, 6, 7, and 9.5. And I don't think I scored all the way to the end there. Okay, so now what we want to do is remove some parts of this. So if you notice here, we've got your 1/2 inch piece here. We don't have that 1/2 inch down here, okay? So that's your indicator. So what we're going to do is this is score line number 1, score line number 2, score line number 3. Let's cut to the score line, and then we're going to remove this entire section. And I am using some scissors that are older than the heels. I'm not even sure how they got here on my station. These are our Craft and Rubber scissors that have retired. Okay, so same thing over here on this side. I'm just going to remove this section. If you'll notice, I didn't fold on the score lines yet, and the reason for that is that with all these lights and everything, I found it's a little bit easier to cut before I fold on those score lines. And I hope I worded that right. I may have just butchered my words. I got lots of thoughts going through my brain today. I'm still in catch-up mode, so when I got back from vacation, I had all the catalogs to ship. So we are about 85–90% done shipping. We still have the spiral bounds we have to work on. Okay, so now I'm folding on those score lines. I feel like I'm doing this wrong because I normally do this first. Okay, now what we want to do is give these guys just a little sliver of a trim. I call these the tabs. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay, now you don't have to do this next step, but I really do prefer it. I tried making one of these without doing it, and it didn't work. So if you have the Project Life corner punch that just retired, you can use that. It has retired, so I'm going to use the envelope punch board to do my rounding of the edges. Oh, I don't think I had it in there all the way. Oh well, it'll be fine. Okay, so now where to place your adhesive. You're going to put adhesive on these two tabs right here, and then on these two pieces here. I am going to use my tearing tape because I have gotten pretty good at applying this lately. Of course, I'll say that and then I'll mess up on the video, but let's see. Let's think positive, right? One more piece. If I was using this and this wasn't a sample, I would probably add a little bit more tearing tape. I'm just adding a little just to save myself some time. Except, you know what, I want to make sure that this is going to close when I try to close it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to remove the backing off of these two pieces first. I always say I got to hold my breath when I'm doing this. Okay, so then fold this in just like that. Same thing over here. Now let's remove the backing off of these pieces. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to remind you, head over to my website, leave a comment to enter to win the kit to make this project. Not only will you win the kit, but you're also going to get some of the samples that I'm going to show you in just a minute that fits in this box. So give me just a second. Okay. Okay, so here's the box. Folds over like that, folds over like that, and we're going to add the little Velcro dot right there, and I have them right here. You can use the clear ones, you can use the black ones, you can get them at Walmart, Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot. Yeah, they're pretty much available at all the stores. Okay, so I'm just going to, this is the hardest part for me, is the Velcro. I don't know why. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and remove that because it's a bit too much for me to handle. There we go. So I'm just going to center that in the middle. Okay? And then this one's going to get attached down here. Okay, so you can see the adhesive on that Velcro dot. So I'm just going to fold this over and get it exactly where I want it. And I don't even know if it's going to stick now because of my fingers. Okay, so I've got the Velcro dot there. Now what I want to do is just kind of make it stick. Okay, now let's go ahead and decorate it. We'll give that a second to set. I'm going to take my snail. I'm going to add this to the front, making sure that the cameras are in the upright position. And then this piece, let's see, which one do I like better? Yeah, I like this one better. I'm going to take that corner rounder again on the envelope punch board. And I want to make sure it's in there all the way. And I'm going to round these edges. Just on this side over here, okay? Let's put adhesive on it. Okay, now this one's going to go on the back. I can tell this is going to be a really long video. Hopefully that's okay. I don't make a lot of really long ones. These are going to go over here on the side, except I want to make sure that it's going in the right direction, which is kind of hard to tell. There we go. Okay, come here. See how cute? Now, let's stamp. We're using the what's it called? Pieces and Patterns stamp set. I can't remember if I told you that or not. I do really love it. Punch and cut out the flower. There we go. I'm going to take the crushed curry marker and I'm going to color this real quick. This is going to get added, let's see, nope. We're going to add it with dimensionals. And then we're going to add this one with a glue dot. And the reason I'm using the paper piercer is because I want it to be a little bit smaller, so I kind of wadded it up a little bit. So I'm going to place that there. And then one of the brand new products that's already been super popular is these little enamel glitter dots, or glitter enamel dots. Maybe I said that backwards. Isn't that cute? Okay, so this is going to go right up here. Oh, and I should have added my adhesive first, but it should be okay. Now I'm going to show you the samples that I put in there. So these are some Perfectly Posh samples. So whoever's name I draw, all you got to do is leave a comment on my blog, on this blog post. So these samples will fit in here perfectly. And it also will hold, like I showed you here, the container of tissues. So now let's make the larger size really quick. Okay, so now let's go over the measurements to make the larger one that will hold the chunk bars. You're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 7 by 12. I've chosen basic black. And now let's get out the Simply Scored scoring tool and score it. I'm going to place it on the portrait side, which is the 7-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 1.5 on both sides. So there's 1.5. I'm going to flip it around. You can see that over here, and then 1.5 again. You could do it at 1.5 and 5.5. I just like it to be exactly precise at the 1.5 inch mark. Okay, so now let's put on the landscape side, and we're going to score it at 2.5, 4, 6.5, 8, and 10.5. Okay, so now, just like the first box that we made, we're going to identify our larger size, which is this one right here. You can tell this one's only 1.5 inches. So we want to count over 1, 2, 3, and this is what we want to remove on the side. So I'm going to take my chalk pen here. We want to remove this section, okay? Same thing over here. And we're going to leave this middle section, okay? So all I'm going to do is cut up to the score line and then cut. And this diagram will be on the inspiration sheet posted on my website. So I'll have an inspiration sheet for both the small box and the large box, and you can print both of them for free. Okay, now the rest of these, let's go ahead and fold on the score line, and then we'll cut. Okay, so over here on the side, cut up to the score line, cut up to the score line, do the same thing over here on this side. Okay, now I'm just going to give these a small trim. Okay, envelope punch board. We're going to round the edges of this over here, just like the other box, so we're not changing anything except for the measurements, okay? Okay, same thing. I'm going to take my tear and tape. I'm going to apply it to these pieces and here. I will more than likely fast forward this, okay, so that I can get this video going along. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in. And fold this one in. And then we'll do these down here. Okay, so let's see how the chunk bar fits. Yep, perfectly. Okay, so the top piece of the Designer Series paper is going to measure 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. Then you need 2 pieces that measure 3 3/4 by 1 1/4, and 2 pieces that measure 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. Yeah, 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. Your same measurements for your basic black and Whisper White for this piece is the exact same as before. So Whisper White was 2 1/2 by 1 3/8, and basic black was 2 3/4 by 1 5/8. So let's go ahead and attach these. While I'm adding the adhesive, oh wait, let me take this piece here, and we want to round the edges of one side. Okay, we'll go ahead and add this one since it's in our hands. And back to what I was saying, leave a comment to enter to win the kit. You'll get the supplies for the box and the Perfectly Posh samples. If you don't want those or don't like those, feel free to pass them along to someone else. I like most of the scents, not all of them, but yeah, some of them are really yummy. Okay, now these side pieces here. And I have 3. I don't know if I cut one the wrong measurement or what. Who knows what I was thinking. This is going to go over here. And then this one, whoops, come here. Okay. The last step is, before we add our greeting, is we need to add the Velcro dot. And that proves to be the most difficult part of this box, is adding this Velcro dot. The adhesive is super strong, so I may have to fast forward it. Okay, so here's that part, and did I call it a glue dot? Hopefully I didn't. It's a Velcro dot. And then now this one, the other side of the Velcro dot. I think maybe these Velcro dots of mine are a little, maybe they're old. Now this one's going to get attached just like that. Okay, so let's check these out. So we've got the regular size, the tissue box, and then we've got this larger for the chunk bars. Pretty cool, aren't they? Okay, again, the measurements will be on my website. You can print them for free. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.